So a bit of news coming out of seems to be Massachusetts, United States. So this is definitely agri-food tech focused, and this is the part of the industry and the business when it comes to venture capital and fundraising that people more often than not don't want to talk about, but it's equally important, if not more important, to talk about um, companies filing for bankruptcy because it's about giving money back to the investors or making investors whole, and it's also about having an opportunity to study the business model and where things went wrong. So May 31st, 2024, Catherine Douglas Moran from Grocery Dive. Takeoff Technologies files for Chapter 11. A group of the company's customers is slated to put up roughly $9.6 million in debtor-in-possession financing as the micro-fulfillment center provider looks to sell its assets. So, Takeoff Technologies filed for Chapter 11 on Thursday with a plan to seek buyers for some or all of its assets. The grocery e-commerce fulfillment provider is requesting the United States Bankruptcy Court for the District of Delaware to approve an agreement where a consortium of its customers will provide approximately $9.6 million in debtor-in-possession financing. This financing will allow the company to keep operating while it goes through a marketing and sale process, according to the company. Takeoff said that if no viable or qualified bidders buy the company, that consortium of customers may acquire some or all of its business. Dive Insight. The move by Takeoff Technologies comes at a time when grocery e-commerce has taken a back seat in the grocery industry. While grocery e-commerce and demand for service providers to help streamline online order fulfillment quickly rose during the pandemic, grocers have now pivoted their attention to retaining price-sensitive shoppers and grappling with the fading sales boost they had received from the pandemic and inflation. Takeoff Technologies said it plans to have an orderly wind down of any assets that are not acquired through the sale process. Before filing for Chapter 11, the company said it explored alternatives to address its recent financial challenges and absence of additional equity funding. Takeoff is taking the necessary steps in the next steps after careful consideration and in consultation with management advisors and the board. The interest demonstrated by our customers in continuing to do business with us demonstrates the strong need for Takeoff's products and services in the marketplace. Quote of Takeoff Chief Restructuring Officer John DiDonato, who is also Managing Director of Huron Consulting Group, said in a statement. Takeoff has its first hearing on Friday regarding its position to seek relief under Chapter 11. Founded in 2016, Takeoff has counted Wakefern Food, Chilean grocer SMU, and Albertsons among its list of partners. In October of 2023, Hy-Vee said it was working with Takeoff to develop micro-fulfillment centers in certain areas where the grocer operates. Takeoff and Knapp announced in February they were working together on a hardware and software innovation for grocery e-commerce. So this just seems to be a this just seems to be a standard case, in my opinion, of a business model that maybe also received some exciting pandemic bump up and some exciting short-term gains, and people thought even before the pandemic this might be the future. That does not seem to be the case at this point. So yeah, you kind of have to question in a wind-up, and there's a big difference between Chapter 11 and other types of bankruptcy, who's going to get the assets if there's not going to be a sale. So they're kind of doing two things at once. They are looking to sell potentially to a suitor, and if there are no bidders or buyers, then all the assets will be liquidated and most likely liquidated back to the stakeholders. So unfortunately for this technology-focused startup, um, almost 8, 9 years old now, not exactly performing as people would have liked, and they were unfortunately ran out of cash, and the business model wasn't able to prove itself. But they're sitting on a lot of infrastructure and a lot of facilities that could be liquidated. Um, and one other option might be that there might be a true competitor out there, such as Amazon or a Walmart, that would take interest in this, either the real estate or the facility itself, if it made sense for them, depending on where these facilities are, Massachusetts or elsewhere. But otherwise, always interesting to go over these stories because it's necessary to learn about where a startup fails. Because anybody who's running a startup or any business for that matter needs to understand some of these processes and procedures when it comes to paying back investors.